to today's live. Today is day 56, and I'm doing collective tarot pulls for the week. So collective tarot pulls differ from personal tarot pulls in the way that it's for our soul tribe, it's for the collective, so the world, the universe, for everybody that's called to this video. For some reason, I can't bring it up. Let's see. I'm on my PC because I think it's just better. But for some reason, I can't pull up the big screen. But we're just gonna roll with the punches. So the collective is different because it's a general message for anybody that this video touches to help you this week. And usually when we pull a collective pull, it's for our soul family, it's for our soul tribe, it's for the people that we're meant to have as clients, or that we're working with as clients, or peers as well, that are showing up to move and to do the same kind of work that we're doing. So if you're here, welcome. It's a sacred thing. I'm so happy that you're here. And I just finished doing lunch for tomorrow. I was heavy in food, right? In grounding energy with food. I just had some water. I have some chips. Have my candle going. And on Mondays, I do ritual for the week. So I do a personal pull. And if I'm thinking about launching a program, I'll also pull cards for the program to get clarity around it. So I've already done that. And then whatever cards are left, sometimes I do pull something for the collective to ask questions, to see what my clients or what my people are struggling with, what the overall planet needs from me, what kind of energy I need to step into, whether it's more of a light, loving energy, if I have to process some shadow stuff to help the collective do that, what I need to do to help raise the vibration with my soul family. Those are usually the kinds of messages, the kinds of questions that I ask when I pull cards for the collective. But for today, I'm going to be pulling from the Ethereal Visions card deck. Isn't this beautiful? And it goes with my office so nicely. So I actually have it sometimes like this as decoration. I just love it, love it, love it. It captures the priestess vibe. And then I'm also pulling from the Starseed tarot deck, which I love. I don't have the box, but this is the little manual that I'm going to be reading from once I pull the card. And I love this deck because it's great when you feel like you're lost and you don't know what to do, right? You're having trouble in your earth existence, in your earth body, or you feel homesick, right? Because as starseeds, sometimes we yearn and we feel homesick for a home that we can't go back to, at least not yet. So it sometimes feels difficult to be an earth being, right? And dealing with all the earth trials and just being here in this atmosphere. So I love this deck when that happens. And the theme that came up right before going live is because we're getting off the heels of the Lionsgate portal, and the lion is also about the heart. So our passion, reconnecting to our heart portal, our heart chakra. And I feel like that's what we're being called to do this mid-year. We have 4 more months until the year's over, and to really connect to that space and allow yourself the ability to love again. So we've gone through so much, right? Right now we're going through so many tumultuous things with the government, with all these restrictions being put into place, a lot of people going back into lockdown, and we feel trapped. We feel like we're being put back into that cage, like putting the lion back into the cage, or wanting to vaccinate the lion and declaw the lion, restrict the lion. And instinctively we want to roar, right? We want to rebel in this righteous way. But we're being asked to instead connect to the portal of our heart and realize that we're spirit and we cannot be contained. We cannot be contained. We cannot be restricted. We cannot be, our freedom can't be taken away, because they can't take away our minds. They can't take away our spirit, our essence. So that was the biggest message that I channeled and that came through before going live right now. And so we're going to be using that as an anchor for this reading. And then also The song Love Again by Dua Lipa has been a really consistent thing for me this week. So I think it's a really beautiful song, and it also has a very rhythmic, forward motion sort of rhythm. So I'm gonna link it at the bottom, and it's nice to get into that groove because it'll keep you in that space of moving forward. So we're not actually standing still, we're not being halted. We are moving forward. It's just that sometimes in the physical, it might feel like we're not, like we're taking steps back, right? Going back into lockdown and other things coming up, like these variants that they keep, you know, coming up with. So yes, so let's use that to really connect the energy. And I'm gonna just call in my guides to help me in this reading, my animal guides, my spirit guides, my ancestors, and my own divine being. And I love to blow into the deck and then also pass it through the candle that I have lit. So I'm gonna do that right now. And I'm just gonna shuffle it. And I love to shuffle it in the number energy of either the month. Ooh, I just had a bunch of them just pop right out. And when that happens, that usually means that those are the cards. So I'm gonna just pick them up and see what those cards are. So I like to pick the number of the month or the day. So today is the 9th, so I'm gonna pick 9 cards. All right, so we have, oh my goodness, the 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles, do you see that? So 9 is a very holy, spiritual number, okay? It's also the final month of gestation when you give birth. So right now we're in a state of giving birth. We're almost there to the harvest, right? We're almost in Virgo season. And right now we just finished having Lammas, which is the first harvest. So we're being called to focus on that harvest and really anchor ourselves into the prosperity and the state of celebration of that, even if we feel like we're being pulled out of that. Really focus on that harvest, and we're building on that. So here we have grapes, and how ironic is this? I'm going to share this in my stories, but tomorrow we're having grapes for lunch. We're having peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with grapes, purple grapes, which is what she has here. She's picking them off the vine. And if you saw my stories, you saw that my husband went on a ShopRite run, and he went in while I went live on my stories, and he brought grapes. So grapes are all about prosperity, right? We can also make wine out of grapes, so turning something into something else. So this week, focus on how you can alchemize whatever you're being handed. So any lemons. So if, for instance, if you're in a part of the world that's under lockdown, how can you alchemize and make the best out of that solitary position that you're in, almost like a monk, channel spirit, and really turn it into something else, something that you can use to help move your mission forward. So the grapes, you can turn them into jelly, you can eat them fresh, or you can press them into wine, beautiful, decadent wine. So how can you do that? The next one is the 6 of Swords. And the 6 of Swords is, let's see, right there. 6 of Swords is the inverted position of the 9. 6 is all about community, family, okay? And usually DNA. So DNA activation. So the 666 is also related to the DNA. And here, swords have to do with your mental processes. So Pentacles is all about the earth, money, right? And Pentacles is another word for coins. So our livelihood is really related to focusing on this harvest and the next harvest. But the swords is about the mental processes. So what's being challenged is our mental capacities, right? To be able to deal with these problems that we have going on for the next 4 months. And he is moving away from it. So that could mean that right now the best thing that you could do is maybe jet set somewhere. If you are under lockdown, or if you're not, you can jet set somewhere and use that as an opportunity to refresh your mental reservoirs, to get new inspiration, to see something differently. And remember, not everybody's under lockdown. So if you could take a vacation somewhere. You can also move somewhere else. So for instance, in the United States, we've seen so much division amongst the different states, the different ways that each state has been handling the pandemic. And I'm also going to link at the bottom an article that I was discussing with a new girlfriend of mine who's also a homeschooler on how the different states are seeing vaccination, the passes, and all those things, just so you can see the differences if you haven't been up to date with that. I'm not exactly an expert, but Spirit does lead me to things, and that's one of the articles that I was led to. So I'm going to share it with you. The other one is the sun. So let's see, how many cards do we have? We have 1, 2, this is the third. This is the sun. And right now we're in full sun. We're in August and we're in Leo season. So stepping into your power and shining. Even if you're on lockdown, you're being called to still shine. Remember, we're in the age of technology, so you can still shine on live video through the Limitless Live 365-day live video challenge. You can still shine by showing up in powerful posts. You can still shine by connecting with people in community, in your groups, organizing events, and hosting things in your house, and shining bright and remaining positive. So this card is all about positivity, is about owning the spotlight and not backing down, So the number that it is 19, and 19 is reduced down to a 1. So it's about you as an individual really owning that and not feeling like you're alone, even if you are alone in your house or wherever you find yourself. You're not alone, and you're still in deep communion with yourself. So going back to loving yourself, enjoying your own company, and realizing that yes, being with others is great, but you can be okay alone. You're fine alone. So the next one is death, and death is a scary card. It could be really scary, but it's not. It's really not. It's part of the circle of life. It's part of the process. It's related to Scorpio. It's also related to Pisces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me just pull 8, 9, 2 more. Okay, so the next one is death. And in this deck, death is green, okay? And it's a corpse. It's a corpse. And then it also has a woman on the side crying, because we usually mourn something. So I just finished this weekend dealing with death. So right now we might be feeling a death in the way things are being done in our country, in our city, deaths of relationships, because there's been so much division, right? And we've really been able to see other sides of people that we maybe weren't aware of before. But remember that when there's a death, it creates an opportunity to grow something else. So when something leaves our life or something changes, it always brings an opportunity. There's always something to be learned out of it, even if it's a dark, scary, shadowy place. So as you can see over here, we have a flower that's growing out of, what number is this? 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 is reduced down to 4, which is foundations. So whatever dies really creates the foundation for whatever's going to be reborn out of that. And 13 is all about, is the auspicious priestess divine feminine number, related to the 12 months of the year, the about 13 cycles that we have in the moon as women. So death is not all bad. It's not all bad. So the next one is 9 of Swords. Again, we have the 9 really making a strong entrance in this reading. So the 9 of Swords, here we have a woman who's in bed, and there's a skull that has 9 swords. So it's all related to the mind. We're being stretched in the mind and really getting new downloads on how we view things, how we feel about things. So you might get nightmares, just like she's having here. You might feel a little bit mentally tormented, but you need to ground and just remember that this is all part of the process, and looking to your spiritual team to help you anchor in. So here you could either look at these spirits as taunting, really stretching you, really creating this chaotic atmosphere, or you could see it as they're coming in to assist you. And the chatter might feel chaotic, but if you tune in and you receive what's being shown to you, it's not always in dreams, it could be through people. it can help you have a clearer direction in your life right now. The next one is Seven of Swords. So he's leaving camp and he's taking these swords. And in other decks, it shows him more in this mischievous position where he's taking the swords, he's stealing them. But here, it seems more like he's maybe carrying them to help someone, or he's just walking away. He's taking what's his and he's just walking away. And he clearly can't carry all of it. So we can't carry all of the mental burdens that we have. We can't carry all of the weight of the past year with us. So now is the time to really analyze what beliefs are serving us, what things are meant for us to continue to carry for the next 4 months, and then letting what doesn't feel good, what doesn't feel aligned, drop, just like he's letting these two swords drop to the ground. And when we drop worries, mental worries, right, and maybe not go too deep into the future, we find that we're lighter. We can move faster. We can think more clearly. So that's what we're being called to do. The next one is Ten of Wands. So it's a level up from the 9. And he's carrying the wands all on his back, right? In the last card, we saw how he was carrying them with his hands, using his hands. But here he's used another apparatus to help carry his load. So think about different ways that you can carry your current load. Right now, we're being stretched in many ways, right? If you're new to homeschooling, you're being stretched in that way. If you've suffered from mental health issues in the past, now you might be feeling stretched in that way too because of all the different changes that we have in society. If you have a partner that's at home working with you, you're being stretched in that way. I mean, there's just so many ways. You might be being stretched also socially, right? If you've had attrition when it comes to friends and now you're putting yourself out there, or you're just getting more active and more social and getting used to making friends again, being with friends again. All those things add to our weight on top of all the big transitions that we're having. So he's moving forward, as you can see. He's moving forward. His countenance, his face, his facial expression is a little less optimistic than the swords that we just saw. He's a little bit more downtrodden. He looks more exhausted. He looks like maybe he's been on the road for a while, right? We've been on this path for a while, but he's still moving forward. And he's still taking calculated, slow steps, and it's going to lead to fruitfulness. With the green, it shows that it's going to lead to fruitfulness, and he is grounded in reality. He sees the reality of things, and he's not. This card is very realistic, so he's not in any kind of delusion or illusion. He's really calculating all of his steps and how things can go either positively or negatively. And I think that's a very judicious thing to do at this time. Here, in this card, he's a little bit more optimistic, right? He's a little bit more optimistic, and there might be a little bit too much bravado, maybe too much optimism. And he might learn as he continues to walk that maybe that's not everything's going to be roses or peachy and red and beautiful, like his cloak denotes. He also looks a little less prepared. But right now, because this is our second time going through this wave of lockdowns or whatever might be coming our way, we are prepared. We have the skills. We have the wisdom. And we're going to be given from our team, from Spirit, through guides, physical or non-physical, instruction and holy guidance to know how to move. And we have to have that deep faith and that deep trust to be able to continue to move forward as this new earth cements itself. Then the next one is the Seven of Pentacles. So it's taking pride in our work and admiring it, taking time to enjoy it and admire what we produce, what we birth, and then collecting it together and taking it out into the marketplace and then marketing it during this time, no matter what's going on. And by doing that, you're also going to feel good. You're going to feel grounded in the earth. You're going to feel supported. The last one is the Hanged Man, and it's upright. Okay. And the Hanged Man is all about activation. So related to the chakras, related to the Kundalini energy. And when we change direction, and again, alchemy. So it's funny that we're ending with alchemy, this alchemical theme. So it's changing the direction of things, almost related to what I shared in the group, related to the post for the challenge, and how when we change our posture, when we use a belt, when we use a girdle, when we wear heels, those very small shifts that seem insignificant are actually very profound, because they change and shift the energy, and they shift the currents that we have running through our body. The same thing happens when we do yoga, when we change our body position, if we dance, if we stand for alive versus sitting down, if we even switch where we sleep. So the side of the bed that we sleep on, or where we sleep. So instead of sleeping on the bed, we sleep on the floor. All of those things change our body, and it helps to move the energy around. And when we do that, we get answers. We get lucidity. We get clarity. We get transmissions. And I was actually reading from the Mother's Wisdom deck. This is a deck. Whenever I feel a little bit like I need some nurturing and some support, and how to mother myself, or a message from Mother Moon and how she's mothering me and guiding me, I got turtle grounding. And that's very much related to this card. In the text that I read inside the book, it mentioned going into this position of laying down with your face down and your chest down and your hands down. And by doing that, you connect to the core of the earth. And it signals to the universe, to spirit, that you're humbling yourself and you're ready to receive guidance, to receive support and direction, and you're grounded in that in a very humble way. So that might be a good exercise to do too. So that is the main meat of this reading, or the main core message of this reading. Now for the Starseed Oracle, I love these cards. They're so magical. Now let's see what message is coming through for our spirit, for our being, and what energy we should be stepping into. So let me just shuffle. How can we love ourselves through this process, through this transition that we're going through? What do we need to birth? How do we need to move this week? Let's see. Ooh. The Void. Stop. Embrace winter. Great cosmic womb. So the womb is a very dark, enclosed space, right? It's a watery haven at the same time. So when we're in the womb, we don't realize that we're trapped. We don't realize that we're in the darkness. We don't realize how cramped our quarters are. And in the same way, in many ways, being under lockdown, right, being restricted like this can feel like the womb. And then eventually, as we continue to grow, we no longer fit in that space. So ask yourself right now, where don't you no longer fit? What areas of your life have you outgrown? And how is the current space where you feel constricted maybe not so constricted after all? Maybe there's still room to be there. Maybe it's just all in your mind. And in this womb, how can you embrace the winter? How can you embrace the darkness? What shadow work still needs to be worked through? So this is a deep call for shadow work, and also for creation, because the darkness, just like the ground, it's a fertile time to plant. And we just had a new moon in Leo. So if you haven't set any intentions, this card is telling you to set those intentions in the void, in the great cosmic womb of the collective, of the universe. Set those intentions and just focus on that as you also work through any shadow work that's coming up. So it's a fertile time. It might feel like it's not, but it's a fertile time. We still have so much that we can still reap and sow and grow and harvest. So I'm gonna read, I just flipped right to it. I love that. So it says, stop, embrace winter, great cosmic womb. Everything and nothing exists in the void. It's where all life begins and ends. It's the winter and the womb, the fertile darkness where all things originate and all seeds grow. comforting and intimidating, freeing and daunting. It can feel both overwhelmingly small and huge. The void is where faith lives. The message of the void is to surrender to the unknown, to allow the fertile darkness of nothingness to nourish the new seeds growing within you. Regardless of whether you know what they'll one day become, you're being called to surrender to the mystery of what's next, to rest and to allow the winter of your life to do the work for you, to hand over your control and trust that just because you can't see what's happening beneath the surface, it doesn't mean things aren't at work. The greatest weavings happen when we find a way to surrender and trust that our life is being knitted for us, right beneath the surface, in ways known and unknowable. No, now is the time to cultivate faith and allow deep, deep rest. The void often surfaces at the end of a chapter or life phase, when we're called to let go of all that we know and identify with. When you're in the void, it can feel scary and as if you should be doing something. However, when this card appears, it's a sure sign that the most productive thing to do is relinquish control and surrender to the changing mystery of your life. Starseed Soul Inquiry. How are you being called to surrender to the unknown mystery of your life? So this is a beautiful card. It's also a call. I love when I get this card to take a bath, a spiritual bath, and then envision myself being held like in the womb, in the cosmic womb, because we are held as women by our guides, by each other as well. We get to hold each other as women. So it's also a call for circle, to come into circle and communion with other women who are part of your soul tribe, either physically or online. So it's a great time to really cling to your sisterhood for support if you feel like you need that. And and this deck is by Rebecca Campbell, and the artwork is by Daniel Noel, and the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck is by Matt Hughes. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I'm sending you so much love, deep blessings, and if you're not in the group already with me, I hope you'll join me there. And if you enjoyed this card reading, I hope you'll join me for the next ones in the future, and for the daily posts that I have in the group, which are also channeled and soul-led. So I'm going to be going live on YouTube because I am in the middle of my altar work. I'm kind of taking you behind the scenes to what that is, but I'm going to be doing some moon forecasting for the week. So I'm going to share what those charts are on YouTube. So if you're interested to see what those energies are and how you can use them in tandem in connection to the reading that we just had, join me over there. Bye.